Super Mario 64.
All right.
One of the
All right, guys, we're about to get locked in. This is a 47-minute video, so this is going to be the next like hour of the stream. Get locked in.
most iconic speedruns of all time. Top level runs are beautiful. There's incredible movement, bizarre glitches, and awesome tricks. It all adds up to a super popular speedrun, giving Mario 64 the impressive legacy it has.
I literally said fucking 10 minutes ago that I'm like, damn, I really want to get into Super Mario 64 running again.
But I've got a secret to share. All the gameplay you've just seen was performed with a blindfold on.
Oh, the Summoning Salt intro music.
Real, but for the past several years, players have been trying to speedrun Super Mario 64
I'm so for it.
without looking at the screen. How is this possible? How do you take a three-dimensional game and not only play it with your eyes closed, but practically make it look easy?
Let's go.
Let's take a journey inside the minds of some of speedrunning's most impressive
How long
players.
Summoning Salt been making videos? Because why is that nostalgic? Don't batch us me, fuck you. Why is that so nostalgic? Holy fuck. What is these videos? When did he start making? I've watched that 7 fucking years ago. I mean, I guess that's long enough to warrant some sort of
Super Mario.
Okay, shut up.
Welcome to the world of Blindfolded Mario 64. And now a word from this video's sponsor, Rocket Money.
No,
I don't know about you, but that's rocketmoney.com/summoningsalt.
Alright.
Blindfolded speedruns aren't a new concept. For years, blindfolded runs have been a staple at Games Done Quick events, and runners have even grinded at home to optimize blindfolded world records. But those were usually for simpler games. Compare that to Mario 64, with its 3D gameplay and wide open
Speedrunning has always
levels.
been something I really enjoy.
Getting consistency with this seemed
Like
out
the
of
culture's
question,
kind of nice.
and for many years, nobody bothered trying. But then, we arrive in 2017.
What was that
the
skip?
main
I've
character-
never seen someone do that skip before.
This seemed out of the question.
Did he
For
long
many
jump
years,
from
nobody
the
bothered
platform?
trying.
Oh yeah, it's on the platform.
But then, we arrive in 2017, when the main character of our story comes onto the scene. Meet Bubsia.
Hell yeah, Bubsia!
Bubsia had seen players like Runner Guy 2489 and 360 Prism play
I'm sorry,
blindfolded 3D games.
This guy has got the best blindfold setup of all time. He's just got a pillowcase over his head.
Players like Runner Guy 2489 and
It's
360
been
Prism play
kidnapped.
blindfolded 3D games before, and it inspired him to see what he could do in Super Mario 64.
Can't they just like cheat though? That
Bubsia
doesn't seem
started
like
by
it's enough.
figuring out a few basic stars blindfolded. From there, he expanded to the rest of the game. He slowly built up his skills throughout 2017. And finally, by October, he was ready to try for the first full game completion of blindfolded Super Mario 64. Here's how he did it. First off, this was a 16-star run of the game. Collecting at least 70 stars is the intended glitchless route, but that was not going to happen with a blindfold.
Dude,
on.
doing Mim's clip
Instead,
would be fucking
Bubsia
so
performed a popular
unlucky.
speedrunning route. Collect 16 of the easiest stars, then tackle a couple glitches to skip to the last stage. That was much more manageable than going for 70 stars. Right from
how does he-
Bubsia's first inputs, you can see his general strategy. He ran forward until he heard Mario hit the wall, then turned right and kept going. It was slow, but these inputs were hard to mess up, and he eventually made it to the cutscene. In Bob-omb Battlefield, Bubsia worked on getting to the top of the mountain for the first star. He used the camera angles to his advantage. He'd run forward till he hit an object, then carefully adjusted the camera and kept moving forward.
Holy shit!
This
That
normalized
sounds
his
so
movement and
tedious.
lined him up so he'd always end up running to the same place every time. After gradually inching his way up the slope, he got to use audio techniques on the boss. He backflipped to pick him up, then counted the audio of Mario's footsteps to know when he was in the middle. This lined him up so he was perfectly underneath the star when it spawned.
Oh my god.
Bubs ended up collecting 3 stars in Bob-omb Battlefield, and they all followed the same idea. Very simple and safe setups to reliably work his way through the map. He then headed to Whomp's Fortress, where he ultimately picked up 5
Yo,
more
what just happened to my
stars.
shit? Hello?
He used a plethora of strategies to get these.
My
Slowly
OBS
backflipping up
is
the
not
wall ramp,
responding, but I'm just
running
gonna
from
not
wall to
touch it.
wall, and even using a bit of muscle memory. His setups were so normalized that whenever something went slightly off script, he usually couldn't recover and either died or restarted. This happened 9 times throughout Whomp's Fortress.
What a
Bubs
loser.
continued through the game, slowly but surely collecting stars.
Oof.
While a lot of his strategies looked safe, they required an unbelievable amount of memorization and skill to do blindfolded. None were harder than the Bowser stages.
Oh shit, true.
He needed inside-out knowledge of the level to ensure he could platform without looking. He had a clever strategy for the Bowser fight itself. By constantly letting go and re-grabbing his tail, Mario gradually moves forward. Eventually, you'll collide with the bomb and skip having to somehow aim a Bowser throw without being able to see.
So quick.
After an hour and 25 minutes, Bubsy had collected 15 stars.
Time
He
to go
had a
get
precise
Mips.
setup to grab Mips the rabbit, and then counted Mario's footsteps to know when to turn through the hallways. To clip through the doors, Bubsy had more setups that involved re-grabbing Mips repeatedly. They worked, and Bubsy was through both doors
That's
after
so
3 minutes.
fucked.
But then, he arrived at the hardest part of the entire run.
Oh, water would
Bowser in
be.
the Fire Sea. There are so many cycles, moving objects, and obstacles
not the water?
all over the place that even with the best setups, Bubsy couldn't consistently make
Die
it
Die
through.
Docks must be very
He had
easy.
a few smart strategies to help. By listening to silly kicks, he could tell where the platform was in its cycle. A
How?
longer distance between each
my
kick meant it was
God.
moving down. And a shorter distance meant it was moving up.
That's...
And later on, by backflipping onto this box, Bubsy knew that even if he took damage in the lava, he was lined up with the heart so he could recover. Safe strategies like these helped, but it still took Bubsy nearly an hour to get through Fire Sea.
Imagine finishing work
11
just to go
deaths
home
along
to
the way.
grind blindfolded Super Mario
Eventually,
64
he cleared the
speedrunning.
level, and after 2.5 hours, he was in the home stretch.
What a guy.
Next up were backwards long jumps, and there was no big secret to doing these blindfolded. He just had to line up and hope his mashing got him through the door and up the stairs. And finally, Bowser in the Sky. It's quite similar
This
to
will be
Fire
impossible,
Sea in that
man.
there's several cycles you have to deal with. The hardest being the 2 elevators right at the very end. But thanks to a combination of backflips, audio cues, and normalization setups, Bubsy had made it through after 3 deaths. The
Bruh.
final Bowser fight requires
3
throws,
hours.
and Bubsy's strategy for the
Blindfolded,
first 2 was
locked
letting
in.
Bowser
Holy
run at him,
shit.
then dropping him right into the bomb. But that's not an option for throw 3. So, he had to just randomly spin Bowser and hope he hit a bomb. One random throw away from history being made.
Dude, no way you would pivot an entire 3-hour, 11-minute run on a random third Bowser throw. Oh my god, he thinks it.
Okay, so calm down. I need to connect the star. Calm down, guys. Please, man, please.
He leaned back and he could have
2
seen
backflips
underneath.
or 1 backflip.
Oh.
No, that's not good.
Oh my god.
We did it!
Did he take his blindfold off before hitting split? That's blindfold off before the game's done.
Bubsy had shocked the world. He could literally beat Super Mario 64 with his eyes closed. Probably one of the craziest gaming achievements ever. Now, his run did take over 3 hours, and he either died or restarted 33 times across the game. There was room for optimization, if Bubsy so desired, but he didn't. He was the only person in the world capable of doing this.
Oh, for
He
now.
was happy to move on with his life. But little did Bubsy know, while he was working on his 16-star run, there was another player on the other side of the world doing the exact same thing, Zurf. Neither player knew of the other's existence, and Bubsy's completed run came as a big surprise to Zurf. He was still working on individual stars. This other guy was way ahead of him. But Zurf wasn't deterred. He talked with Bubsy, learning some of his strategies while improving on his own. He found
That's super
different
nice
routes
that they
to take
collaborated.
and ways he could complete certain stars faster. By the time he started full game runs in early 2018,
Dude, what the
he
hell?
was a
He's
much
locked
improved
in.
player.
What's that on his
Zurf
head?
ended up beating Bubsy's run by a few minutes on February 2nd, and a month later, he took a full hour off the world record. Mario 64 completed Blindfolded in an hour and 58 minutes.
Holy shit.
A big part of the improvement was the fact that Zurf simply died less than Bubsy. He had to restart just 15 times across the run, compared to Bubsy's 33. But his route through the game
This
was
guy's
also
just
quicker.
wrapped a towel
For
around
one
his
thing,
head.
he opted to collect both Peach
Oh, he's got an
slide
upper
stars.
plushie.
He had a fairly safe strategy to leap over the edge and make it to the end before 21 seconds. That's fast for a blindfolded star. He also switched out a couple stars in Hazy Maze Cave to save a bit more time. But beyond the route changes, Zurf was simply faster than Bubsy. He used more audio cues to his advantage. For instance, in the Bowser stages, he could tell where the rotating platforms were based on what part of the background music was playing. And just all
That's
over the
fucked
run,
up, man.
Zurf's strategy
Where are you? On the map right now. Hold on. Top right. Coordinates 33-1.
were a bit riskier, running up a slope rather than backflipping, and using fewer setups. Meanwhile, as Zurf was lowering the Mario 64 blindfolded record, Bubsy was working on other blindfolded games, most notably Pokemon and Kingdom Hearts.
I thought it was going to say, while this guy was speedrunning Super Mario 64, Bubsy got a wife and children and a full-time job.
He planned to come back to Mario 64 eventually, but if nothing else,
I think
these other
Pokemon would be
games
so
were
much
helping him
easier.
improve as a blindfolded speedrunner. He picked up on different blindfolded strategies and ideas while he played. And as the months passed, Bubsy realized there was one technique that might really help with Mario 64. Something that would make
What?
his movement look much more fluid.
Just running?
Almost like he was playing with his eyes open. That fall, Bubsy came back to Mario 64, implementing a trick called beat counting.
Oh,
Beat counting
true.
is
Run for
essentially
3
using the
seconds.
background music's beat as a metronome to time your inputs.
Yep.
Now, it's important to note
Yep.
that this isn't the same as a music cue. That's where you wait for a specific
That's some
moment
crazy
in the
tech.
song to
Actually,
use the
that's
cue.
crazy tech. Dun, 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 dun.
Instead,
Like, you'd have to listen
beat
and
counting
metronome
is
it. That's
simply having a
crazy.
consistent frame of reference, in this case the beat of the song, to help time different inputs.
Yeah, he's jamming.
For example, you can run forward, then know to jump after 3 beats, then press jump again after 4 more beats, and so on. This can
Bruh.
help make otherwise brutal sections become nearly trivial, as it replaces insane muscle memory with consistent inputs. Beat counting was first implemented in Super Mario 64
Who's this
by
guy?
a player named Katoon, who used it in his 70-star run. It helped him
Katoon
all
hasn't got enough. One dude has that like a big thing over his head. One has a tiny blindfold, and Katoon's thing looks like one of those like blindfolds you get out of an airplane. All these guys are going to be
allowed for
cheaters.
Fluid movement that looked like a visual.
It's probably going to
pair
touch
at
on cheating
times.
later.
After seeing it
Because
utilized
I feel like
in
cheating
other
would be
speed
so
games,
easy.
Bubsy decided he had to try using it in 16-star. So, in September 2018, he came back to Super Mario 64. He wanted to see how much time he could take off of Zurf's record, of 1 hour and 58 minutes. How much could beat counting help?
He drops it down to 58 minutes.
Well, right away, Bubsy saved time on the very first star.
Twitch
He picked
chat.
up a box and navigated into the corner of the gate by beat counting. By then setting it down on top of Mario's hitbox, he got pushed behind the gate and was able to collect the star. This is an obscure old trick known as box clip, and predates the more traditional bomb clip used in modern
I
visual
never knew
games.
that clip even
New
existed.
strategies with beat counting were
Holy
used throughout the
shit,
game.
dude.
Often, these helped big time with consistency as well as being faster. The slide in Cool Cool Mountain was now
The
beat
history
counting,
behind
and
Mario's
Bubsy had a
speedrunning is
safer
crazy.
mix grab thanks to beat counting too.
Chat interaction must go
But
crazy with a
the biggest time
blindfold
saves with beat
speedrun.
counting were the Bowser stages, especially
Yeah,
Fire Seed.
true.
As you recall, this
We
is
did it,
probably the
chat! What'd you
hardest
guys think
level
about that?
It took Zurf over 17 minutes to get through it in his world record. But here, Bubsy used a beat count for the entire stage developed by Katoon. Highlights included a section in the middle where he navigated without adjusting the camera. Since he couldn't see anyway, there was no point in changing the camera angle. He still knew exactly where to go. Bubsy flew through the whole level. And ultimately,
And when sending
he completed it
hydration
in
reminders,
just
also you're
2
setting to be
minutes.
changed from chat
A
while you're
15-minute
offline.
time save over
Hydration bot going
That's the power of
hard.
beat counting. Bubsy was cruising. The run was far from perfect, but after
The third
demolishing
bout
Fire
also is
Seed,
very difficult
he knew
to
he was
strat.
way ahead.
I
of
guess they just
Zurf's
chat with
world
each
record.
other.
He couldn't see his exact pace, of course, but he knew it had potential to be a big record. The backwards long jumps went well, and thanks to beat counting and other audio cues, Bowser in the Sky was quick too.
Not seeing
Once
a timer
again,
on screen's
it all
crazy.
came down to hitting this last Bowser throw.
Summoning Soul put a black
Then
box
he
over
could
it.
find out just what type of pace this really was.
Yes! Yes!
No way. Holy shit! 53 minutes. Full blindfolded.
This was ahead of even his wildest.
That's crazy,
Not only
man.
was it sub-hour, but it was sub-hour by several minutes.
Oh man, we're just at the start of the fucking video too. I swear to fucking god, if they beat my PB of like 26 minutes, I'm gonna lose my mind. There's no way.
Whole game beaten.
They can beat the game blindfolded
53
faster than
minutes.
I can beat the game.
Duran did have its slow
Not
moments.
blindfolded, that's
He
fucked
died a
up.
handful of times, and the worst part was when he had to intentionally drown to restart in Dire Docks. But being able to cut a world record in half did not happen very often. This was everything Bubsy wanted and more. Beat counting had changed Blindfolded Mario 64 forever. But once again,
Oh,
Bubsy
shit.
decided this was a good place to stop. Despite there still being room for improvements, he
Possessed
remained
by a
interested in
dead
exploring
gamer.
other blindfolded speedruns. So, he stopped playing, and
So
for
he-
the next year, his blindfolded world record remained unchallenged.
Holding any speedrun for a full year is pretty indicative of like how crazy good it is. It's like you wouldn't think. I don't think Super Mario 64 120 star has been held for that long. It turns over like almost once a year, and that's a solved game. This one only has 2 people running in it, so it's like
But of course, Bubsy wasn't going to stay away for long. 16 star was his bread and butter.
oh,
If
spoilers,
you've
spoilers,
seen my
spoilers.
other videos,
That's crazy. We'll
generally
see.
people who dominate a game can't help but come back to it time and time again.
Me with League of Legends, I
Bubsy
just
wanted
dominate
to
the
see
scene.
just how low he could take the blindfolded record. So, after a 10-month break, he spent the summer of 2019 rerouting the run, changing up the stars a bit and trying to optimize his strategies.
Okay.
By August, he was ready to start up runs again. And over the course of just 11 days, he did this.
Dude, that's cleaner than how I do it. And he hits a Bowser throw, so 10 minutes off.
I'm not happy, man. I'm not happy at all.
Cutting it by another 5 minutes, not happy is crazy. Boom! No, don't run forward.
No way, dude. Are you kidding me?
Just get the star. Get the star. Get the star. Just collect the fucking star. No, no. Well. Oh my god. Oh.
my god. No, dude.
Dude, he's shaving. Goal is sub 30. 40.
An unbelievable grind. Thanks to a combination
That's
of
crazy considering what I think's a good run for me is anything sub 30. That's insane.
beat counting,
He's 38.
incredible muscle memory, and a ton of skill. Bubs
He's grinded
beaten
for so
Super
long.
Mario 64 blindfolded in under
I only grinded for
40
like a month at a
minutes.
time.
This run had one big mistake. During MIPS, he got lost and had to quit back to the menu. It cost about 2 minutes, so a 36-minute run would be the limit.
That guy there, Thorn, he's in my Twitch chat. Yo, we have a legend,
There were no
guys.
major mistakes anywhere else. 38 minutes was incredibly optimized for this type of run. It was exactly what he was looking for. Bubsia really was the king of blindfolded Mario 64. Hardly anyone else had tried it, and those who had were
Oh my
well
God.
behind him. He could do with his eyes closed what others couldn't do with their eyes open. And this
All right.
38-minute run
I feel
was
like that's a
his
shot
magnum
directly at
opus.
me, man.
Bubsia was finally done with the grind. No one else even approaching his times. And then,
A look of
3
relief on
weeks
his
later,
face, man.
something very interesting happened. Completely out of the blue, a new submission appeared for the blindfolded Mario 64 leaderboards.
Here's the cheater,
The
dude.
player's name was Nobori56.
Yeah.
And he was claiming to have performed a 35-minute blindfolded
Yeah,
run,
fucking cap.
a new world record.
Cap.
Nobody in the community had heard of him before, and having someone brand new instantly claim a big world record was suspicious, to say the least.
Cap.
And when the community watched his run, it only got stranger. He wasn't beat counting at all. In fact, it seemed like nearly everything he did was muscle memory.
I don't
It looked
know.
an awful lot like he could see what was happening on screen, at least somewhat.
He's got a diaper
Blindfolded
on.
speedruns can be easy to fake.
Dude, got a
If
diaper
you
on
can
his
get
head.
any vision
Yeah,
through your blindfold,
actually.
it makes the run magnitudes easier.
Dude, man.
This was a tough one to call. Maybe Nobori was just an unbelievable blindfolded gamer. Or
Even if it works, choose something else, man. It looks like you have a diaper on your head.
maybe he was a cheater. Over the following few weeks, Nobori continued submitting runs, and gradually, everything became clear.
Oh my god. He's sub 30. 20, that's pretty much my PB.
Nobori was 100% legit, and he was actually that good. So here's the thing with Nobori. He has an absolute knack for developing muscle memory. Once he does a trick with his eyes open, it doesn't take much practice until he can consistently do it without looking. Therefore, the idea of beat counting never even entered his
That's
mind.
me, chat.
And he was able to
With
perform
missing
nearly
cannon minions.
everything faster.
Doesn't matter
Even
what you
right
do,
from
I'll
their
miss that
first
shit.
movements in the castle, you can see the difference. Bubsia had to set up his moves and work his way to the first door. But Nobori adjusted the camera at the perfect moment to do this.
That's what you do in regular speedruns. That's what I do.
Basically indistinguishable from a visual runner.
Yeah.
How about getting to Peach's slide?
Same. What the fuck?
Genuinely impressive, even with eyes open. It was more of the same with the stars. Nobori went for super fast strategies, no beat count setups necessary. Even though he died a few times, the time save for moving faster more than made up for it. But as you might expect, the place that Nobori improved the most was the Bowser stages. When Bubsia played Bowser in the sky, he kept moving but didn't do anything too flashy. Super impressive for being blindfolded, but nobody would mistake it for a speedrun. Nobori, on the other hand...
Fuck off. He's doing standing left side. That's crazy. That's so swag, dude. That's so swag, though. Yeah, that's unnecessary. Holy shit. That's so impressive.
Standing left side and elevator skip. It's really hard to believe that all this is possible while blindfolded.
Dude,
But
I can't even do standing left side with my eyes fucking blaringly open. That's
in
insane.
case there's any doubt Nobori couldn't see, at the end of every run, he took off his 18 blindfolds.
Well, he actually has
way
1,000
anyone
blindfolds
could do all
on.
that. He was simply so
Oh,
much
what
better
the
than
fuck?
any other blindfolded player.
Dude, what the fuck?
He was running while the rest were walking. Nobori had achieved a 26-minute blindfolded
Alright, it doesn't
run
look like a
of
diaper
Mario
there.
64.
It looks like a
Simply
towel.
inconceivable just a few weeks ago.
26:37.
There's one more moment of Nobori's run I want to talk about. The final Bowser throw right at the very end. This throw had a few different strategies over the years. Bubsia's initial method was to just blindly throw and hope it hit a bomb.
Alright, before this plays, this is gonna sound so dumb. I'm so bad at Bowser throws that I adopted this method, the whoosh sounding noise method.
But Zurf realized that since the whoosh sound occurs at the same time in every spin, you could sync up your joystick to the spinning and know exactly when to release Bowser to hit
I was
a bomb.
so shit at Bowser throws that I tried
This
to
was a strategy
learn
that Bubsia
this.
preferred to use, but Nobori took it a step further and used something else that Zurf had found. By pausing during the whoosh sound, you could listen to the
Kinda make me
echo
feel
and
sick.
judge whether or not Mario is facing the bomb. If he's not,
Ow.
then you simply unpause and try again. But if he is, then you can immediately unpause and throw Bowser.
How does he know?
It'll hit the bomb every time. This is a brilliant example of turning a seemingly impossible task, landing a blindfolded Bowser throw, into something relatively consistent.
So
Even though he was miles
swag,
ahead of
man.
everyone else, Nobori still felt he could save time over his 26-minute run. He died a couple times and had a particularly slow MIPS grab. So, a few months later, Nobori came back and improved the record to 25 minutes. A run that would have been even faster had he not failed to grab Bowser's tail and had to redo the fight. And just 2 days after that, Nobori made one more improvement. This run was truly incredible from start to finish.
I like how he has the
He
PB in
collected
the
the
bottom.
first 11 stars quickly, with no substantial time losses. He died once in Hazy Maze Cave, but it didn't cost him badly. His MIPS grab was instantaneous, right in front of the door. His Bowser stages were all fantastic, his BLJs were super quick, and on the last fight, he grabbed Bowser's tail and landed the third throw. No retries needed.
That's so swag, man. 24 is crazy.
24 minutes is a genuinely respectable time with your eyes open. Nobori had optimized this run to insane standards.
Holy fuck.
Hard to believe it was all actually possible. As for Bubsia, it was tough to accept what had just happened.
Oh, my man.
He'd been the king of blindfolded Mario 64 for years, and Nobori
Paved
had
the way.
demolished all of his times. When Bubsia tried doing Nobori's strategies, he could eventually pull most of them off, but his consistency was poor. Definitely not good enough to complete a full run with them. Bubsia had to accept that he wasn't going to be beating Nobori's record. For the next year, blindfolded 16-star had no activity.
Yeah, it's
There was
dead.
no point when the world record was this good. Players
Fuck
focused
spending.
on other categories. with
Dude, how
less-
long did he say he grinded it in blindfolded just to get under 40 minutes? It was like years, right? Fuck grinding it as long as it would take to blindfold speedrun the game in 24 minutes. Fuck that. I don't know, go outside, eat hot chip, play video game, like chill, touch grass, anything.
Optimized records. And unsurprisingly,
Sex
Nobori
many
took
a
the
women.
top spot for those too. Just pure domination. But eventually, everything calmed down. Nobori stopped playing, and the rest didn't bother trying to beat his times. It almost felt like he had killed Blindfolded Mario 64. But then,
yeah, there it
in
is.
October 2020, Bubsy managed to get 16 star into that year's Awesome Games Done Quick.
Nice.
This was the first time anyone would be showing off Blindfolded Mario 64 on such a big stage.
That's kinda
Bubsy
cool.
may not have been on Nobori's level, but he wanted to put on a good show. So, he knew he had to get practicing.
This is pretty wholesome.
Bubsy didn't have any illusions of trying to take the record. Instead, he focused on playing for fun, looking for new strategies and not taking things too seriously. And maybe he can improve a bit on his 38-minute PB. Since Nobori's crazy muscle memory strategies were out of the question, Bubsy focused on beat counting strategies. He found faster ones in Womp's Fortress and Cool Cool Mountain. And on Bowser in the Sky, beat counting allowed him to make a faster elevator cycle at the start. But despite lots of practice, he was still slower than Nobori, and he was dying more.
Whoa, do him like that. Doing him like that's crazy. Now, he put in loads of work, but he was still shit.
Slowly started to come in. First, a 37-minute run, and then nearly a month later, a 35-minute run.
Oh,
Both of
shit.
these had substantial
35
time
is
losses
really
on the
good.
BLJs, so Bubsy knew he had the potential to go a few minutes slower.
Touch a
But
woman
this is exactly
blindfolded.
what he was looking for. Even if he wasn't competing with Nobori, it was still nice to see some improvement.
That's sick, man.
And as the weeks passed, Bubsy kept getting better. His movement was faster, and he was dying less often. He started going for Lakitu skip sometimes. It wasn't very consistent, but getting it at all while blindfolded was amazing.
Minus
This
4
was a
minutes.
fantastic.
Minus 4 minutes on any speedrun's crazy. If I'm minus 4 minutes on mine, I'm 22 minutes deep. That's insane. That's so well played, man.
Run for Bubsy. He nailed nearly all of his strategies. Bubsy had the
It's
chance to close the
2021.
gap even more.
Oh man, COVID
But
buff
instead,
of Insider
right after
Gaming.
Bubsy's new PB, Nobori came back.
It's me, Mario.
Oh no. Just let him take it back, dude. Give him a minute.
He made it seem effortless. Nobori's strategies were somehow even faster than before. To get to the
He's
top
shitting.
of Womp's Fortress, instead of teleporting, he jumped off the slope while sliding to make it up. He switched up a few stars and had a brilliant strategy to hit the tower.
Oh, that's so
star in
swag.
Shifting Sandland. And most importantly, it was just incredible that he was doing all this while blindfolded. Occasionally, he'd have a moment that looked obvious, like when he struggled to collect stars that were right in front of him. But he'd turn around the next moment and do something like this. Mind-blowing. Bubsy had improved, yes, but he was not on the board.
Dude, I can't even do that.
It almost seemed like he could lower the record at will. But he decided to stop here. With the world record down to 23 minutes, Nobori had once again killed the competition and blindfolded 16 star.
I want to see what's his
Bubsy
face
knew he
at
wasn't
Good Game
beating
Done
this.
Quick.
Nobody was beating it. So instead, he spent much of 2021 focusing on a new challenge, routing a blindfolded 120 star run.
Oh, fuck
This was
off.
a massive undertaking, and took up most of his gaming time throughout the year. Yet, even though he wasn't playing the more competitive category in 16 star,
120.
working on 120 star still helped him improve at the game. He was optimizing the stars for speed, and as a result, found some new strategies. For instance, in Bob on Battlefield, he found a consistent setup for Bomb Clip, the iconic trick used to get behind the fence quickly. It saves 20 seconds, and looks pretty darn impressive given it's performed blindfolded. After practicing 120 star for several months, Bubsy came back to the game's shorter categories in late 2021. quickly sweeping through each one to lower his PB.
50-star
In
blindfolded
16 star,
in an hour.
he managed to get a 28
Hey, sub
minute
30,
run
congrats, man.
featuring his new tricks. Still slower than Nobori, especially in the Bowser stages, but a decent improvement. After this, he went back to working on 120 star, and Nobori's record remained as safe as ever. At this point, he'd held the record for more than 2 years. Bubsy hadn't been able to catch him, and nobody else was within 15 minutes of him. As 2022 came around, it was really seeming like this was Nobori's record to keep. He could simply do things with a blindfold on
COVID
that
ended 23,
nobody else
right?
could. At least, nobody who had tried so far. The only hope of beating Nobori was somebody new coming along, who had their own set of incredible blindfolded skills.
End of
Someone
22.
like Hendy Man.
A new person.
In late 2021, Hendy Man became infatuated with blindfolded Super Mario 64. That September, he became just the third person to beat
He can
the
see
game
through that.
blindfolded
He can
in
see
under an
through
hour.
that.
By January, his time was down to 35 minutes. And by March, he lowered his PB to right behind Bubsia. Impressive improvement from a relative newcomer to blindfolded gaming.
Congrats, man.
Hendy's playstyle was like a hybrid between Bubsia and Nobori. He didn't beat count with numbers, but didn't fully rely on muscle memory either. Many of his fastest strategies involved music cues. He'd mess around in a level with his eyes open and figure out how to time certain actions to the music. Eventually, he'd find a series of inputs that gave him the best consistency and practice it
I really hope
relentlessly
Bubsia comes
until he
back,
could do
man.
it blindfolded.
I know that there is a
Hendy
cheater.
got
I wonder if he
really
talks
good at
about
this,
that.
And it paid off with a 28-minute run. He fell behind Bubsia while collecting the stars since he died a few times, but he was actually faster than Bubsia down the stretch. It was gold split after gold split for Mips, Fire Sea, and Bowser in the Sky.
22 minutes
After
Fire
hitting the
Sea.
last throw on Bowser, he knew he had a big PB.
Let's go! Holy
A couple months later, Hendy got on another good run. It started with both Lakitu
He's
skip
10
and
seconds
bomb
away
flip,
from the
and
OG.
he gained big time in Bowser in the Dark World. Unfortunately, he struggled and then died in Hazy Maze Cave, died twice in Fire Sea, and died on Bowser at the very end. That's 4 deaths.
Oof.
Yet he still PB'd by a full minute and moved ahead
Dude.
of Bubsia into second place.
The GOAT.
Hendy had gotten really good. Despite several minutes of time loss, the rest of his run was so fast.
Who's that
he
blindfolded
couldn't help
speedrunning
but
cheater? I
PB.
thought that's what this was going to be
Hendy's
about.
movement and speed was incredible, and it was honestly starting to look a lot like Nobori. The only thing he didn't have was Nobori's consistency. These mistakes made up the bulk of the difference. It was safe to say that Hendy was officially a world record contender. And over the next few months, things would get quite interesting. Hendy started practicing the last few tricks he needed to learn, like standing left side and elevator skip.
Those two
Most
tricks are
importantly,
so fucking
he worked
swag
hard to
blindfolded,
build his
man.
Consistency. He knew that he had the skills to get this world
Long jump,
record.
long jump.
He just needed to hold it together for long enough and get it all to line up in one run.
I don't know what just happened.
No.
I think I fat fingered a. Dude! Yeah!
The mic peeking.
You did Super Mario 64 16-star blindfolded in 26 minutes.
Wait, was that TTS? Man's playing a blindfolded speedrun where you need to listen, and he's got fucking chat on TTS. He's an insane person. How the fuck? Oh my god.
You did Super blindfolded in 25 minutes and 11 seconds.
Or is it just his time? Probably gets more donuts with TTS. I mean, that's true. Yeah, if you're trying to monetize it, for sure. But they don't write the history books on second place, man. Oh, well, I mean, they write Summoning Sword videos about second and third place, though. So slow, but he still golds at the end.
You did Super Mario 64.
Oh, okay, it's just the time. 24, a sub 25 is so good.
In a row.
Hendy was closing in. This was a 24
He's within a minute and a
run with
half.
2 deaths and other scattered time losses.
Yeah, I think
throughout.
so too. So
There
he
was
knows if he's
easily
too
a
far
minute
off, he
worth
can
of
just reset.
improvements he could make. But Hendy was getting exhausted. Doing hundreds of runs with your eyes closed gets monotonous, and he enjoyed looking for strategies more than he enjoyed doing runs. So, even though he was so close, Hendy decided to take a break from 16 stars.
What?
And instead focus on Blindfolded 1 star, an even shorter category. Meanwhile, Bubsia was watching everything Hendy did in 16 star.
Oh my
He was
god, the
amazed
goat
at how
comes
close he'd
back,
gotten to Nobori.
please.
And after completing the world's first
It's done?
Blindfolded 120 star run in May,
Sorry, I just saw that. 11 hours, 22 minutes, 43 seconds. Blindfolded, locked in, playing Super Mario 64. That sounds like a nightmare. Like a sleep paralysis thing.
Bubsia was ready for a new challenge. He'd improved so much while on the 120
That's
star run, and
crazy.
had gotten especially good at searching for new strategies. Bubsia had turned into a new player. His old 28-minute PB in 16 star was in a distant 3rd place. In July 2022,
He's back.
he embarked on a quest to change that. Bubsia still couldn't rely on muscle memory as heavily as Nobori. That meant his gameplay would generally be a bit slower as he had to set things up more. But if
Kind
he
of
could make up the difference
respects
with faster strategies,
the full grind,
maybe he
man.
had a chance at this. He and Hendy found new tricks all across the run, like triple jumping off the womp while going up
That's
top,
sick.
and long jumping straight across the gap in Dark World.
Yeah, that's what.
These small improvements began to add up, but the heavy hitters were in the final 2 Bowser stages.
I feel like they're the hardest,
Bubsia
though.
found a beat count to reach Nobori's elevator cycle in Fire Sea, cutting out his muscle memory strategies while matching his speed.
What the fuck was that? Oh, of course I go back and now it's gonna have to buffer. And my immersion's ruined, YouTube player.
But the heavy hitters were in the final 2 Bowser stages. Bubsia found a beat count to reach Nobori's elevator cycle
Oh,
in
dude,
Fire
that's
Sea,
so sick.
cutting out his muscle memory strategies while matching his speed. And in Bowser in the Sky, Bubsia decided he had to commit to going for everything. Standing
Left side?
elevator skip,
Oof.
and even doing a triple jump dive onto the rotating platform. Bubsia knew this would help make up for some of the speed and movement difference, but would it be enough?
Rough.
That July, he got on a run that fell about 45 seconds behind Nobori after the first 8 stars. After accidentally quitting out of Lethal Lava Land and missing the star in Dire Docks, his deficit rose to over 2.5 minutes. But he did manage to gain time on the BLJs and executed his new Bowser in the Sky strategies to perfection.
23 minutes.
The end result was a 25:49, 2 minutes behind the record and 1 minute behind Hendy.
He's
Bubsia
closing in,
was
man.
A changed player.
On his way
he
in.
hadn't held the record in 3 years now. Nobori had always been just too
Dude,
dominant to beat.
3 years.
But this run was proof that finally he was fast enough. The world record was within reach. If Bubsia could clean up a couple blunders in the middle of the run, then he could finally get the top spot back. Bubsia got off to a great start. He hit all his new strategies through Dark World and had a 20-second
Dark World
lead over
9 minutes
Nobori.
is so
In
good.
Lethal Lava Land, he looked like a visual runner collecting the 8 coins. No hesitations.
Mine's
He
faster.
nailed getting on the submarine in Dire Docks
Mine's
and had a
faster.
beautiful Fire Sea. All of a sudden, Bubsia had himself a deathless run into the BLJs.
How's he still behind on time? That's crazy. Oh no, minus. Okay, never mind. Oh. He's 2 minutes ahead. 21 minutes. 35 seconds. And he's hit the 2 jumps. No, please get it back, man.
Boom!
Boomba, boomba, boomba.
Yes!
Holy fuck, he did it.
Oh my god. Dude.
Oh man, what great storytelling. Summoning Soul videos go so hard,
After
man.
3 long years, Bubsia was back on top. It had taken a monumental effort to beat Nobori.
He's fucking
But it all paid
back.
off.
He's
He
fucking
still couldn't use
back.
muscle memory the way Nobori did. Nobody could. But through years of strategizing and improving, he was able to make up the difference anyway. Congratulations poured in, and Bubsia pondered what to do next. A sub 23-minute run was definitely within
Back to
reach,
120 star.
but ultimately, he decided a 23:17 was good enough, and moved on to other categories. In the time since this run, Hendy and Nobori have been inactive from Blindfolded gaming. Bubsia, on the other hand, after taking a break for a few months, he returned to 16.
My man's about to get locked the
2023.
fuck in.
And ever since then, he's been on a quest for a sub 20-minute Blindfolded run. Sub 20 is a milestone for visual runners. Taking the Blindfolded world record there would be completely insane. But that's what Bubsia was determined to do.
Where's my name?
It all started when Bubsia and Nico, the category's current 4th place runner, began developing a way to perform blindfolded LBLJ.
No.
This trick is used in top-level visual runs. By jumping into an out-of-bounds area
and then
in the lobby, it's possible to then precisely do a backwards
Yeah,
long
and go
jump
into
that
Dark
sends
World.
You into Bowser in the Dark World, an area that normally
What the
requires 8
fuck?
stars. Once there, you want to collect the 8 red coins to obtain a star,
Dude,
so that you
that's
can later
fucked
head
up.
straight to Womp's Fortress. They found methods to complete LBLJ and the red coins blindfolded, but obviously it was a major difficulty increase. And when combining that with other tricks like Owlless and improving movement everywhere, they reasoned that a sub 20-minute run was indeed possible. But
Yeah.
possible and realistic are 2 separate things.
I mean, anything's possible.
In mid-2023, Bubsia decided to make a
Oh,
push
last
for the
year.
sub
Let's
20.
fucking go.
Quickly though, he found that the LBLJ route was far too inconsistent. After abandoning it, he focused on optimizing the rest of the run, and managed to lower the record down to 22
Oh, I do
minutes.
that. I do a triple jump instead of double long jump.
But to get the sub 20, Bubsia knew the LBLJ had to be implemented. In January 2024, he took another look at the route with Nico and
Oh man, I
another
want to run
community
again.
member, Honeyleaf. They realized it would be faster to skip Cool Mountain entirely,
I kind of want to run again.
adding another star in Shifting Sandland and Lethal Lava Land instead. This saved another
Get a sub
20
25.
seconds. And now, Bubsia felt that he had to commit to LBLJ. The upside was too good to pass up.
Oh man.
On February 15th, 2024, Bubsia managed
No way, the outro music's already
to
playing.
land LBLJ and the Reds in his fastest time ever.
World records!
He struggled a bit with the new stars, dying once each in Shifting Sandland and Lethal
You
Lava Land.
died? Cringe.
But even still, he was hitting most of his new strategies.
Do it. I need to
Had a
finish all the
clean
Dark
fire
Souls
seed,
and
then
Elden
got
Ring before
both
DLC will drop.
BLJs first try.
That's a lot of
After
gaming, man.
flying
That doesn't
through
leave
Bowser in
open.
the sky, Bubsia had
Diamond
a
Grind
chance
League of
at a
Legends.
big world record.
I basically don't play League and I can do it.
No! No, I think I threw it. Yes!
You should go to speedrun Dark Souls.
Second
Yeah,
try.
we have to. We have to beat it as fast as possible. There's no fucking around.
Yes!
21:48. Holy shit.
A 21-minute run with 2 deaths and a missed throw. It wouldn't have quite
That's-
been a sub 20, but
Yeah.
clearly the run still
It's like a
has room to go
2030.
lower. And this 21:48 is where the record stands today.
My
Bubsia
man.
is still actively
My
pushing for
goat.
the sub 20. And if Hendy or Nobori come back, they can certainly get there too.
Nobori
It's
definitely can.
unreal to see the progression from Bubsia's first blindfolded run 6 years ago to what he and others can pull off today. They
I
went from
genuinely
barely limping through the
think
game to
it's so
flying
sick.
through like a visual runner. All this difference in just 6 years. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to see what another 6 years of progression will
Oh,
do
ready?
to this
Hold.
run.
I'm gonna turn it up.
Thanks for watching. For a behind the scenes look at how I made this video and storylines that I couldn't include, join my Patreon page. I only charge when I upload a video. Thanks.
Fucking based. Imagine being on... Oh man, that's so incredibly sick. Imagine being on Patreon and you only charge... Did that swap scenes?